Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. Going to give you a very thorough overview of the article. Perhaps I'll read through certain sections within it. There's a link in the description. If you appreciate the coverage, please do like, comment, subscribe, share the video as you see fit. This is in regards to a cold case, the first cold case topic that I've covered. A murder which occurred in 1984. A 25-year-old woman, Marianne Bagenstoes. Her body was never recovered. It still has not been recovered. However, she was presumed to be murdered. And at this very late stage, some 38 years later, her husband, Jer Bagenstoes, if I pronounce that correctly, Jer Bagenstoes, has been arrested as of Thursday. He's been charged with one count of criminal homicide in connection with the 1984 murder of his estranged wife, 25-year-old Marianne Bagenstoes. Now, apparently, again, this is the third cold case murder that I've gone over, but the article is telling us that most cold cases are solved using DNA technology. That has not been the case within this case here. The reason why Jer Bagenstoes has been arrested is because a note was left. It was claimed that the note was written by his estranged wife, Marianne Bagenstoes, by the victim. A note was left and analysis has been performed on that note, and it's been determined that Jer Bagenstoes was the writer of that note. He was posing as being his estranged wife. And with that, he's now in custody. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information just to fill in the gaps. They were separated. So they were married and then they separated. The estranged wife, Marianne, was living with her new boyfriend, and she disappeared on June the 5th, 1984. She was reported 2 days later by her mother. Now, the previous husband and the wife, so Jer and Marianne, had a 2-year-old son. There was a custody battle. It was very contentious. Marianne won the custody battle, and there was to be a final hearing on June the 15th. So upcoming, so it was a long, drawn-out battle that went on for more than a year. Finally, Marianne won custody of their 2-year-old son, but it is noted that it was a very contentious custody battle. Jer claimed that he went to pick up his wife on June the 5th. He was going to help her. She needed to trade in her car for a new one. He was going to help her do that, so he went to pick her up to help her. She wasn't ready. She had some things to do. And apparently, according to the estranged husband, she left a note saying, "I've got things to do. I'll be back soon." And of course, she didn't come back soon. She was never heard of again. So investigators investigated the estranged husband's premises, and they found a piece of cardboard covering freshly dug dirt during a check of the garage. Okay, so cardboard covering a hole, quite a large hole, 6 feet by 3 feet. Pretty effing big hole. Enough, one would think, to be able to fit a human body in, to bury a human body. So there was a hole dug in the garage, which was covered by cardboard. And that was dug just a few days prior to Marianne's disappearance. Officers also found a crumpled note which read, "Had to run a quick errand, be right back." Had to run a quick errand, be right back. So if I'm understanding this correctly, and I might not, I do make mistakes every now and then, but if I understand correctly, that is the note that the husband claims that the estranged wife had written. But after the case was reopened in 2018, investigators performed handwriting samples for both Marianne and Jer, the estranged husband. There was a search warrant which was issued September 2022, and in essence, the investigators were able to take various handwriting samples and they were studied forensically, and with that, they found that the note in question, so I believe the note which was found crumpled, which said, what did it say? It said, so the note which said, had to run a quick errand, be right back, he claims that was written by Marianne, the victim, but the analysis says, no, 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 that was written by the estranged husband, Jer Bagenstows. So with that, he's been arrested. I don't know the charges that he's facing. I'm not sure if it tells us. I'll double check in a second. But he is being held without bond. Yeah, so he's being charged with 1 count of criminal homicide in connection with the death of Marianne Bagenstows. And again, her body hasn't been found. So there we go. There's the cold case. This guy thought he'd gotten away with it. Been 38 years. She's believed to have been murdered early June 1984. So my math says 38 years ago. He's had the opportunity to carry on living his life. The victim, Marianne, had that taken away from her. So the article isn't actually telling us what happened to the 2-year-old boy. I presume he would have got custody. I don't know. I'm guessing. I could be entirely wrong there. It's a bit of a question. But there we go. That's the information that we have at this point in time. So well done, police officers, for reopening this case back in 2018. Which I would say that, I mean, I'm say this is a bit of a silly comment, but yeah, I would say that they ought to have reopened the case. They found a 6 foot by 3 foot hole dug in this guy's garage. I mean, people don't normally dig 6 foot by 3 foot holes in their garages. It's not a common thing to do, I would have thought. So I think it's fair to presume that he would, he was a prime suspect at that time, but he got away with it. And thankfully, the police reopened the case. They applied some forensics to the note that they found. If I understand correctly, he claimed that the victim, Marianne, his estranged wife, wrote the note, and it was discovered that that was a lie. A little bit more information also led to the arrest. So, he had an injury which he wasn't able to explain. He had to take some time off work, which he wasn't able to explain. There were some inconsistencies in his statements that he made to the police. But ultimately, it's the note that he claims the estranged wife wrote. That's a complete fabrication. Why would you lie about that? The presumption is you lied about it because you're guilty of being involved in the death, the disappearance, the murder of your estranged wife, Marianne Bagenstows. So I'm going to wrap things up here. Again, well done to the police. Perhaps I'll do some more cold case articles. We'll see how we go. Take care.